Let's take you to Uganda, where Ugandans have gone out to vote in the general election that's expected to extend incumbent President Yoweri Museveni into a fifth decade. The military has deployed heavily on the streets of the capital, Kampala. Authorities have cut internet access. To bring us more on this, we're joined by SABC News reporter Khayelihle Khumalo, who's in studio. A very good afternoon to you, Khayelihle.
Thanks for having me.
This is a story to really keep a close eye on as one gets a sense of the atmosphere with a president who's hoping to extend his term in office. How would you characterize the political environment?
Well, obviously, it's fairly tense, especially because, it's been preceded by a number of challenges. For example, we've seen in some opposition rallies where the law enforcement agencies, they've been deployed at some point, arresting some opposition supporters. But also one of the opposition leaders in Uganda, Mr. Kizza Besigye, is currently incarcerated on some serious treason charges. So those are some of the challenges that you have. But also what has really made matters worse in Uganda is a very extraordinary decision that has been taken by authorities to shut down the internet and really just affecting the flow of free information. In fact, the United Nations Human Rights Office has been saying that, well, the atmosphere is that of repression because you've had some human rights organizations as well who have been told to close door. And obviously from the side of the authorities in Uganda, they say they have all these measures to make sure that these elections are seamless, especially in When you go back to 2021, these elections were very violent in Uganda.
As you talk about all those pressing challenges, there's essentially a lot of red tape for the opposition to maneuver and campaign freely. That in itself speaks to perhaps measuring the scale and the impact of these elections.
Well, absolutely, especially because, for example, when you listen to Bobby Wine, one of the chief rivals of Mr. Museveni, he's saying that young people in Uganda are disillusioned, they're tired, they're yearning for new opportunities, and they're tired of this 40-year-old dictatorship under a very iron-fisted rule of Mr. Museveni. But for Mr. Museveni, saying, look, it's all about protecting the gains. It's all about making sure that Uganda is becoming a very formidable economy in East Africa, especially because where it's located, it's really surrounded by a number of instability. You look at the parts of the DRC, you look at those sporadic attacks from Burundi and many other parts in the Great Lakes region, but also a very key country in terms of the geopolitical situation in the Great Lakes, in terms of mediation. So many peace talks have been held in Uganda.
After decades gripping onto the power, how does President Yoweri Museveni continue to maintain political dominance? You speak about the growing cries of the young people in Uganda who are saying enough is enough, it's time to shift the narrative.
It's a very huge issue, especially because, you do have those who are still saying that he must stay, but then you have, on the other side, those are saying that, look, he's run the course. In fact, you go back to the time, Paul, when he was very new in the office, saying that one of the perennial challenges facing the African continent is the issue of the leaders who are overstaying their time in the office. Little did we know that the very same thing would happen under his leadership. So from his side, he talks about the issue of the economic stability, the issue of infrastructure, but from the side of the opposition, they're saying that the issues of unemployment, a lot of young Ugandans, they really need a new leader, just a new environment and a new era that will usher all these opportunities to be unleashed so that we see also a very different trajectory in that part of the world.
Very well. Thank you so much. SABC's Khayelihle Khumalo there giving us a picture of the elections in Uganda as citizens take to the polls today